Hey guys, Jonathan here, and today we're taking a look at the LEGO 2025 Captain America Civil War Battle, which LEGO sent me early to review, but of course all thoughts are my own. This comes out in January 2025 with 736 pieces, 8 minifigures, and a retail price of $100. I wish I could say I like this set more than I do, but guys, I think that this set leaves a lot to be desired. Now, in 2016, we got a very similar concept set, the Civil War Airport Battle, which is truly one of my favorite LEGO Marvel sets of all time for what was offered. I don't want to just do a direct comparison and say, well, in 2016 we got this, and in 2016 we got that. In fact, I'm going to do a separate video comparing the two sets. In this video, I really just want to focus on what we get here and whether or not it's worth $100, which, spoiler alert, I really don't think that it is. Granted, we do get 8 minifigs, which is awesome for Marvel collectors, but a lot of these minifigures are reused and or worse versions of characters we've gotten over the years. So with that being said, let's start taking a look at this set. We're actually going to look at the set first and the minifigs last, so let's get into it. Alright, our first minifigure is Captain America, and unfortunately, he is not accurate to Civil War. This is an issue LEGO has had since back when the movie came out in 2016, is that they just reused the Age of Ultron torso for Captain America. Now, the torso is pretty accurate to what we see in the film, but the Civil War version doesn't have the red around the star, as well as some other just very minor differences, so the suits are very similar, so from a cost perspective, I can understand why LEGO just uses the same torso over and over, but at the same time, it's not accurate, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't point that out. That being said, the figure is the same otherwise, with the chin strap on one side and the smirk on the other. We do not get a hairpiece for Steve, though, so you definitely want to leave that helmet on, and he's got the regular shield, and once again, no printed legs for Captain America. Black Widow is the same one we've been getting in sets for a couple years now that debuted in the Quinjet. This, of course, does have the printed legs from Avengers Tower, which is nice, but the printed legs with this Black Widow have come in so many sets, I don't even know if you could say from Avengers Tower anymore, because there's more sets with her with this leg printing than not. Anyways, she's got these, like, reversed guns here for her batons, which actually does accurately represent what she has in the movie, but the suit technically is the 2012 Avengers suit. I'm gonna be honest, though, I don't want to nitpick it too hard, because the suits do look pretty similar in LEGO form, so it's just a bummer we didn't get anything new, but I can really understand why with this one. Similarly, we get a Wanda that we've already gotten. This is the Endgame Final Battle Wanda that's come in a couple sets at this point, but in the most recent Endgame Final Battle with the all-girl team-up, it actually came with a cloth piece for her waist cape here that would have worked great in this set because her jacket is actually kind of more like a long trench coat. I'll be honest, once again, the torso here is pretty accurate for what we see in Civil War, so I can't complain all that much, but knowing that that waist cape was just in production and we didn't get it here in a $100 set really feels inaccurate. That being said, she also has these pink flame pieces for the magic in her hands, which I really don't think would look as good in pink as it would in red, since her powers are very clearly red in the films. And speaking of red, we can flip the head around and see her red powered up eyes, which once again just goes back to point, why are her eyes red but her powers pink? It is a slight nitpick, but it is worth pointing out when we're talking about a $100 purchase. Alright, Spider-Man here is the exact same one that comes in the Sanctum Sanctorum set from the modular series for Marvel, but this version doesn't have any printing on the legs, they're just dual molded. That being said, I think that this kind of toes the line to make everybody happy, where it technically leaves the Sanctum version from an expensive set being exclusive, while also giving people access to this great torso with the arm printing. So this one doesn't bug me out too much, haha, no pun intended, but I do think that it is a slight downgrade if we were looking at the figures side by side, but it's not a downgrade I'm really complaining about because I think it does offer some mix and match for Marvel fans out there. Alright, now we're getting into the newer minifigs, and this, of course, has Sam Wilson Falcon in his same minifig print that we see in the Avengers Tower, but this time with a new jetpack wings build. I actually like these wings quite a bit. I don't think that they'll ever do better for me personally than the CMF Captain America version, or even the original Civil War version from 2016, but honestly, this is probably my next favorite one. We have this little triangle piece here that comes off, and of course that has Red Wing on the sticker, so that looks really cool. That just clips right back into place there. And then the wings are posable, as you can see, with the hinges and joints, and the figure being the exact one from Avengers Tower here, I'm sure will make a lot of people happy. because I get that not everybody's going to be able to get that $500 set. So getting this figure here with a really good build for the wings for $100 with all the other figures is definitely a good value. All right, up next is Black Panther, who also comes in the $30 Iron Man car set from this wave, which is a little bit perplexing because this suit doesn't really look all that much like the Civil War suit, so if we're going for accuracy here, it's not really that accurate to what we see in the movie, especially considering the original 2016 sets gave us a super accurate one. But then it's like not that bad, so it's weird how LEGO Marvel is trying to sell us on this being the MCU suit and the comic book suit at the same time. I really wish they would have just given us one or the other instead of kind of giving us like halfway on both, but it's still a nice figure, and of course he's got those Wolverine claws that add just a little bit of extra detail, although I'm not sure that I really like them. I get why they're here for play value, but I feel like Black Panther's claws just come out of his fingers, and he doesn't need full claw pieces to show that off. Undoubtedly, the best figure in the set is the new Civil War armor Iron Man. I thought the original Civil War armor looked really good, and honestly, I still think it does, but that only came in one set in 2016, so almost a decade ago at this point, so I get that not a lot of people are going to have that, and of course, this is a great figure in its own right. It's got the standard Tony head underneath, with the HUD on the other side, and it utilizes the new helmet style that kind of has that flat plate on the front, but I think that they're really figuring out how to print on this flat plate, because this has a lot of depth and looks really great from pretty much every angle, which is something you can't really say for every Iron Man helmet with this new style. That being said, I think the torso print is a really good balance between realistic and LEGO cartoonishness, and I really, really like this. I could see a lot of people saying that this is better than the 2016 version. I just think that they're different. It's hard for me to say which is better, especially since I've been looking at the 2016 one for almost a decade, and I've only been looking at this one for a few days at this point. But regardless, it's undoubtedly the best figure included here, and my favorite here as well. It's kind of funny that the only other truly exclusive figure here is undoubtedly the worst of the set, and I might venture to say one of the worst MCU LEGO renditions in recent memory. This, of course, is Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, and he uses the exact same legs as Black Widow and the same legs as Falcon, for what it's worth. So we get 3 figures with the exact same leg print, but the torso here is not accurate at all to his outfit in Civil War. It actually looks like the Winter Soldier torso from the Winter Soldier movie, which in that respect makes me kind of excited to think maybe there's a Winter Soldier set on the way, so they went ahead and made this torso for that. But we don't get arm printing this time. I believe it's the first time Bucky has ever been offered without arm printing, so that's a huge downgrade. In the head, I don't know what they were thinking on this. Like, LEGO, what are you cooking? It's got like a reddish-brown tint to his 5 o'clock shadow, which doesn't really work considering his hair is jet black, which also doesn't work because his hair is dark brown in this movie. So I literally do not know what LEGO was thinking when they were putting together the head and hair combo for this. And yeah, it's just a very disappointing figure all around. Granted, that torso is going to be great for making customs, but when we're looking at the value of a $100 set, it's really a crying shame that this figure is as bad as it is. Anyways, let's take a closer look at everything in the set now. If you guys have spent any time here on the channel, you guys know that I absolutely despise these giant figure builds. If you like them, that's totally fine. I'm not making anybody feel bad for that, but I just don't like these. You know, when these retail in stores, they're usually like 30 to 35 bucks, and in my opinion, if I'm going to spend 30 or 35 bucks on a figure, I would literally rather just buy a Marvel Legends figure or Diamond Select rather than have a LEGO figure, because I just don't think that the value is quite there the same as it is with a regular action figure. That being said, when we look at a set like this that retails for $100, let's say that $30 of that $100 value is right in front of us here with this Ant-Man. The thing is, I'm a LEGO Marvel completist, right? So I buy everything that comes out because I like to review them here on the channel, and I like to have a complete collection. But if I was not a completist, I would completely, no pun intended, man, my pun game is strong today. I would completely skip over these figure builds if it weren't for the fact that I'm just trying to collect everything from LEGO Marvel. So the fact that they kind of shoehorn one of these figures into a set like this really doesn't sit right with me, because don't really care for these, and I don't think that the majority of collectors do. If you enjoy them, again, that's totally fine, and I'm not shaming you. I just feel like most people would rather have had a bigger Civil War set with no Giant Man included than to have this one included here. The other thing is, again, I don't want to compare too hard to 2016, but back in 2016, the Giant Man build was actually built like a scaled-up minifigure, which makes sense in the context of LEGO, right? So if a LEGO minifigure looks like this, how does he grow with PIM particles and now look like a figure with posable thumbs and able to move everything? At least when it was the scaled up minifigure, it made a lot more sense in universe and in continuity. So that's the point I'm trying to get at. Beyond that, let's just judge it on the merit that it is. I think they did as good a job as is possible in translating the Civil War suit into figure form. If you don't know, I actually cosplay as Ant-Man, and I have every Ant-Man suit up to Quantumania. I just haven't gotten it yet. So I'm maybe the LEGO community's foremost expert on Ant-Man suits, and they did a great job with this. Of course, it has all the, regular posability at the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the fingers. The hips move up and down, knees, and this at the ankles, and then, of course, we could twist at the hips, and the head moves as well. There's one added feature here that I quite like, too, and that's this Technic block in the back, which adds some studs up top, which now you could have a figure, like, flying around. So I'm just going to put Iron Man up there just to show you what it would look like. So I do think that that's quite cool that they added that, because you could definitely recreate a lot of movie scenes that way. But like I said, I'm just not a big fan of these figures in general, and well, I'm trying to judge it on its own merit without letting my bias for these figures cloud my judgment. But at the end of the day, I can't not pretend like it's right in front of me and a major part of this set. So when we remove Giant Man and all the figures, this is basically all that's here. It's a glorified parking lot, guys, and I really can't say that I like it. Of course, the major build here is the Quinjet, which can easily be removed from this little base plate, which I do like. It kind of looks like it's flying out of the hangar, and that's cool. But the mini Quinjet here is closest in style to the one that comes with the Avengers Tower. We can lift this off, and you can fit exactly one minifig inside, and they've kind of got to, like, lay down to be able to fit in and pilot it. We do have quite a few stickers on this, too, on the sides of the cockpit, on the, like, side consoles here, and, of course, the A logo on the wings. There is no play feature beyond that. That's it. There's just these little stud shooters on the bottom and landing gear wheels. It doesn't really do anything. I mean, I guess the wings move. That's cool in its own right, I suppose, but not really a lot going on here. And then you take these two studs and connect them right here for it to be flying. And there you go. You've got it a part of the set now. Now, onto the set, you can see that we have a couple different little places here, like right here and right here with these T connector pins that, of course, you're supposed to be able to put these J-hooks into, and then you put your figures in there like they're flying around the airport. There are plenty of these jumper pieces that are supposed to be, spots for your figures to be running around and battling. We've got a fire extinguisher back there and 1, 2, 3 Roxxon cans, which throws back to the old 2016 sets where those were. There's a little Technic feature back here where you can click this and those cans fly out. Whoa, how amazing is that? Oh my god. Then over here you can see we've got the hangar, which is supposed to represent like the garage that the Quinjet is in. We've got this piece up here that connects to the web for Spider-Man to web around in. And when we float around, you can see that there's a coffee cup here in the control tower, which is sort of like its own little Easter egg reference to the 2016 set because there was a control tower in that. So they really just condensed down a lot of stuff from 2016 and put it all into one connected play mat here, if you will. And honestly, I just don't think it's as exciting as it used to be. Now, that being said, I don't want this to turn into a comparison between this and 2016. I'm going to do that in a separate video, but I just have to ask you this. When we're talking about the complexity of a build, is what you see here, in your opinion, worth $100? To me, honestly, it is not. I just can't justify this at $100, but let's zoom out and I'll give you my final thoughts on this set and we'll wrap it up together. Alright guys, let me know what you thought of this set in the comments down below. Needless to say, I am not a fan. I do not think that this is worth $100 in any reality, and so many of the pieces being used on that awful Ant-Man figure just tanks the price of this. It just doesn't work, and I don't even know if I can recommend picking this up unless you can get it on deep, deep discount. Just like I've said with a lot of my reviews for this January wave, all LEGO sets go on sale and discount eventually. So if you can wait for a sale to get this around 15-20% off or more, I would definitely recommend it at that point. But honestly, $100 is way too much money for what's offered here, especially with how much of it is repeated and or downgraded from previous figures. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.